So today I'm going to be talking about illegal animal breeding in New Mexico and the effects that it has in New Mexico. So we're going to be talking about what wrongful animal breeding is, and it means that we're breeding animals in harmful, cruel, or irresponsible ways, and it could include breeding animals too often or inbreeding animals that causes health problems. Keeping animals in bad conditions, such as puppy mills and backyard breeders. Breeding for looks, like flat-faced dogs, and they can't breathe very well. Not following animal care laws and creating too many animals and not enough homes for them. And now we're going to talk about the effects of wrongful breeding. One, it'd be strays without food and water and overflow of shelters. As you can see, I have 3 pictures up, and they're from the animal protection laws of New Mexico, and there's over 135 animals that are housed in shelters all the time, and half of them get euthanized due to not having enough homes for these animals, as well as there is 15 plus nonprofit animal shelters in New Mexico, and there's still not enough room for them. We always hit capacity here in New Mexico. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the effects of wrongful breeding. 2 other ones would be health concerns, such as diseases, injuries, infections, genetic disorders, and inbreeding, as well as unknown temperaments just because of the lack of socialization and the stress can cause the aggression, and breeders usually don't disclose that they have aggression issues. I have 2 pictures here to show you a little bit about inbreeding and aggression. The bigger dog, he had a disorder because of inbreeding, and his bones and joints weren't great, and he always had issues his entire life. And the little one had aggressions, and it was unknown to us whenever we got him because he came from dog fighting. I'm going to talk about the issue of wrongful animal breeding in New Mexico specifically. In New Mexico, we experienced having animals from a puppy mill. There was a place in Rio Rancho that was called Petland, and it had been investigated and found out that they were using out-of-state puppy mills to sell the animals out of the store, as well as obtaining their animals through out-of-state brokers, and these brokers obtained their animals from puppy mills as well. Once this was discovered, they were permanently shut down. As well as experiencing backyard breeders. That is something that we always experience, and you always see them when you're driving down the road or scrolling on social media. I have as well included a graph for you guys to look at about the cases in New Mexico. So the most overbred breeds in New Mexico are going to be golden retrievers, bulldogs, pit bulls, pugs, German shepherds, and labs. This is more of the ones that I found that are definitely a lot more overbred in New Mexico as an overall. So we're going to talk about laws and regulations that we have in place in New Mexico. Albuquerque requires breeders to have litter permits and permits for each female dog that they have. And if they are unpermitted, you are able to report them. There is hotlines that you could use. Breeder permits are also required in Roswell, as well as litter permits, and they're only allowed to have 2 litters in 1 calendar year. New Mexico also has laws in place for animal cruelty. And the current solutions that are being used for this issue is Valencia County holding low-cost spay and neuters events, animal shelters waiving adoption fees, as well as holding adoption events monthly to encourage people to adopt instead of shopping. And more personal thoughts, I think that there should be more laws and regulations created, as well as spaying and neutering. And then people should always considering adopting before going and getting other ones. And then I've included polls from people around school and family to talk about what they've decided. And here's a list of my references if you would like to read more on everything that I researched throughout the project.